Hello, everyone. Good evening. You are tuning in to Divine Enlightenment, and I am your host, Susan Gretz. Joining me this evening is our very own beacon and producer, Charity Minton. Hi, Charity.
Hello.
This week, I just wanted to touch base on a few things this week, and I thought, well, we'll bring some readings, live on the air, and I guess sort of kind of go with the flow this week. It's just there's been so many things that have happened this week. I've had a lot of people that have been asking. My sister is doing fair. Some of you may know that she had a major surgery this week, and it was a brain surgery. So that in itself has been a stressor for me, trying to, do what I do and hold myself together and still help others while, I'm just trying to be there for family and everything. And there for a little bit, it was like I really lost touch, I guess, with myself. And a lot of that was because I was so ungrounded that it was just crazy. There was not enough time and, with everything going on, for me to even just settle down for, just a little bit to try and, I guess, grasp everything that was going on. And I still have 100 things that I have to still try to work through on top of, trying to be there for family and all of that. And I want to say thank you all for the prayers and the support that everyone has gave. You guys are truly amazing.
I think it's so nice to see when people really band together. Like, I think that shows the people that surround you, Susan, that love and care about you, and are there for you. I mean, this group of people, it's just you're so blessed to have that, and they're so blessed to have you, and I just think that's fantastic.
I mean, I really am. I cannot begin to say how blessed I am. And this was, I guess, part of, I'm not sure what to call it this week. There's just been so many things going on. And in a sense, I kind of feel like I'm evolving in a way.
Well, what I see of the situation and thought about is the connection that you have with your sister. How strong that is.
Yeah, so much so that, we've been messing up some electronics this week majorly. We've had a lot of things going on, and this is not the first time that that connection has been there. Um, she was having problems before, and she had ended up being taken to the hospital where she coded in the squad on the way there. And I was sleeping, and for some reason, I could hear her in my dream, and then I just heard these dogs just barking, like loud, like they were trying to get my attention. And the funny thing was, is I heard her, like right before the dogs had barked. And, I woke up, and because, the dogs got my attention, it kind of woke me up. It wasn't a bad dream. It's just, I felt something strange. So it caused me to wake up. And when that happened, my husband had to end up going to the ER that very same night. I mean, within just a few minutes, of me waking up, because he had something stuck in his eye. And that's when, he's seen my brother-in-law there. And I had found out then what was going on with my sister. I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known anything was going on right then if, those dogs in my dream wouldn't have woke me up. And we've always had that connection. I've never been sure of it, or how to explain it before, but, and it could be because I'm intuitive and, everything like that. But it's like, we don't have to be together or say anything for me to know that, something's going on or family needs me or something like that. And then, this time, it was like with Jennifer, when my show popped up on her computer.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to tell that story, because that in itself is quite miraculous, I think.
Well, I'll let you tell it since you two were talking first. I was like, what's going on? How it led to...
Yeah, of course.
What we were doing.
Well, I had read in the chat, what was going on with your sister, and Jennifer texted me a little bit later, and she said, "Who's on the radio right now?" And I'm like, well, I'm not sure, I have to listen. So she videoed it so I could hear it, and I'm like, yeah, that's Susan. And she said, well, I was in my living room, and I heard a voice. And she said, so I walked to the door, and she said the dog was with me, and the dog heard it as well. And she said that she opened the door, and it wasn't coming from outside. So she walked back in, and she just kind of followed where this voice was coming from. And she walked into her laptop, and that's where she heard it. And she opened up the laptop that she had used last Thursday. And what day was this, Susan? Was this Monday?
Yes.
Okay. So she'd used it Thursday. And I mean, with most laptops, like the batteries, they'd like die so quickly. But she opened it up, and she actually she has the protection on it, so she had to log in. And as soon as she logged in, the player was going, and she knew that's what it was, but that just confirmed it for her, and it was right there playing, and it was your voice, and it was your show. And she looked down, and her battery had 12%. But the thing is, even if, okay, let's just say that laptop battery went into some sort of hibernation or sleep or energy saving mode, it still started playing on its own. So then Jennifer, what would be ideal is if Jen could call in, but I don't know what she's got going on. But she was then guided and pulled into to do a healing for your sister. And I mean, I can't give like the details of the healing that Jen did, because I mean, she's the one that experienced that, and it's really for her to tell, I think. But it was just incredible what was going on, because when she was kind of giving you a play-by-play of like what she saw and what was going on, and you were confirming what was going on with you, like with your hands and stuff. I was reading this between the two of you, and I was actually in line at the grocery store, and I'm reading these messages, and I am just like getting these major full body cold chills and just and tearing up. I mean, I couldn't stop that. So finally, by the time, I got to the front of the checkout, the lady looks at me like I've just been assaulted or something in the store. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And I didn't go into any detail, but that was such a powerful thing.
It was. And, when you mentioned the chills and stuff right there, and I'm going to go into something else that had happened, because this week has been nonstop signs for me. and very verbal, I might say. There's no getting around, like that. That was a sign, and that was also sort of comfort for me because, I knew that she was going to be okay. And that was something that was, it really worried me, and I was stressed. And for that to come up like that, I'm like, okay, this is a sign. And I happened to notice that, and I don't know if everyone does this, like sometimes when, I'm praying or I'm working with energy or anything like that, I get goosebumps, like just covered head to toe, and I can be warm as toast. So, with me, and I've mentioned before, I always question everything. So I was like, I wonder why that happens. So I was actually looking online, and I was looking up information on spirituality, and I just wanted to see if anyone else got those goosebumps, like that I got when something like this, was happening. And so I was looking up the information, and I found that it's actually very common when you get like the goosebumps. It's actually a divine energy that's touching you. And I was like, oh, well, I got goosebumps now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the thing was, I was reading all through there, and, it was talking about spirituality and angels and things like that. And out of the blue, my phone decides to play a song. And it was the song Stand By Me.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, I don't have it on my phone. I did not Google that song. I didn't look it up on YouTube. No reason at all that song should have played. And it did. And, there was, it only played certain parts, which was what was funny. It was like it played, it gave a certain sentence in the song, and then it kind of cut out, and then something, it would play something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that was weird, but I was like, there's something to that. And so, that was another one. And I just knew, I've been getting signs and things like this all week long. And it started happening, pretty back to back since Monday. So I don't know, if that had something to do with my sister's surgery, or, what exactly in there.
Well, you've had a lot of things going on with you, like especially today you had a different kind of experience, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did.
But I'll tell you what, how about we take a quick break, and after the break, you should let everyone know about the experience that you had today, because I think that's pretty fantastic as well.
I will.
All right. Well, we're going to break, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't miss The Beacon with Jennifer Falah, the show that shines a light through the dark, educates, and empowers those searching for hope. Learn about the levels of heaven, how to positively create, and to meditate to build a stronger connection to the divine. Join Jennifer as she shares information acquired through communication with archangels, interdimensional meditation, and years of psychic experience and research. Tune in each Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for this empowering show, only on beaconoflightradio.com.
Are you seeking a deeper connection with the divine? Do you wish you could receive guidance about your life or healing from a higher source? Jennifer Falah is an experienced angel intuitive, psychic medium, divine healer, published author, and radio show host who offers her services to the public. Move forward in a positive direction with answers from the angels and healing from the divine. Contact Jennifer for a reading today at psychicangelconnection.com or join her group on Facebook at Free Psychic Readings Beacon of Light. Are you plagued by nightmares, negative self-talk, depression, anxiety, or even strange occurrences in your home? You may need an energy cleanse healing or house cleanse to clear this from your life. Marcy Howell is a divine healer who can help you remove these negative energies from your body and space, as well as help you communicate with a loved one who has passed to find closure. If you are seeking a fresh start and outlook on life, contact Marcy Howell at divinehealings.co or find her on Facebook.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. And before I get into the experience that I had earlier today, I just wanted to go ahead and remind everyone that Charity and I are doing live readings on the air, and you can call, feel free to call in at any time. And the number is 323-902-5497.
Susan, I also have a pendulum. If anybody wants a pendulum to ask a yes or no kind of question, I can also do a pendulum swing for them as well.
Awesome. That's funny you mentioned that because mine's laying right here too, and I didn't even get it out.
Oh, wow.
So I'm not sure why it's laying here, but it's here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was weird. I just happened to look up and see it. Usually
Yeah,
I keep them in a little velvet box.
Well, I was thinking about it because I cleansed and then charged all of my crystals the other night by that supermoon we had. So I've got a pendulum that's just ready to swing if somebody wants a question.
Okay. And like I said, anyone, you can call in at any time. And I'm going to go ahead and give the number real quick again. It's 323-902-5497. And, if you have any questions or, you need some guidance or anything like that, just call in and Charity and I will help you out the best we can. Now, my experience today, and I've honestly, this one kind of left me speechless because I guess it was kind of overwhelming with everything that's been going on this week. And that's why I was asking Jennifer about Archangel Uriel. And for me, now I have angel tarot decks that I use. I'll often connect like in meditation and things like that. But I have never had the experience that, I've had today. And I'm still trying to, I guess, grasp what happened. And I don't know. I just think that, it's something with, everything that's been going on this week. But, I seen this, I don't want to call it a fog, but I was trying to figure out how to explain it. It's like when it's real hot outside and you see like the heat come off of the blacktop or the concrete. I'm not sure.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's that wave. It's where, it looks like kind of wavy.
Yeah, so I had actually, I was trying to just figure some things out. And, I had mentioned earlier that with everything going on, I have felt so ungrounded. And it was just hard to find my center, sort of, and ground with everything going on. But I seen that and I was like, it kind of made me look twice. I was like, what is that? And I kept looking and I kept looking. And as I was focusing on it, and I admit I thought, it was my eyes or something was playing tricks on me there for a minute because I wasn't sure what I was seeing. But, and I was kind of staring into that, and it just kind of looked like it was forming an outline of a person. And there was such a huge white blinding light that just come to me, and it was like all in this figure, and around the shape was like a gold color. And I'm not sure, I wasn't sure if I wanted to call it the aura or if it was the energy around it, but you could see the gold outline. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And the outline looked to be way bigger than like our actual size of, like human size. This outline was tall. And I was like, oh, I was not sure what was going on. And it was like everything else around me just kind of stopped, like I was stuck in time or something. And I really wasn't thinking about anything else, just kind of trying to focus on what I was seeing and what was going on. And I'm not sure of the time frame in there, of how much time passed. But all of a sudden I could see, like I could see the facial features, I could see, it's hard to, I'm trying to find the words to explain, what I had actually seen. And that's where I had asked Jen, because clearly, this was an angelic being. And I just felt overwhelmed, but I felt excited yet calm all at the same time. And I was like, for a minute I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to take this in. There must be a reason for it. I'm just going to go with the flow, and I'm just going to listen. And like I said, this is the first time that this has ever oh, my heart's racing. This is the first time that has ever happened.
Susan,
And
you may be calling them in or something, because like you cut out just then, like it completely went blank.
oh my goodness, see,
So
that's my electronics this week.
yeah, I just wanted to let you know about that. I didn't know if you, so, I mean, like, did that, it said it, I think it did it especially when you said your heart was racing right now.
Oh, but oh, I got goosebumps again. But I had seen this being, angelic being, and myself, I'm like, what do I say? Do I, what I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I say something? Do I just stand here? So I'm just kind of taking this all in, and I'm like, hello? That's all I could think to say. And come to find out, this being, this angelic being, kind of steps forward to me. And I'm just trying to find the words there. That it was really amazing to see and to feel, and just what seemed like such a brief, communication there, I got the information that I needed out of that.
Right.
And it surprised me. I mean, like I said, I'm still trying to grasp, everything that happened. And I was asking Jennifer, I was like, what does Archangel Uriel look like? And so I was trying to explain what I was seeing, and I was searching, I guess, for validation to see if, what I was seeing was what I was seeing. Like everyone else, we like validation. We do.
Sure.
And I had found out, from what I was told, and then I was, of course, I was trying to find some information on it, and I'm not sure where to look on that, but Archangel Uriel, I guess, is the angel of wisdom, or the, how did he word that? Like the Archangel of Earth. I think that's what. And I was trying to, I wasn't expecting that, to hear that. And I got the most insight out of, that little bit of time there that I think I could have got out of trying to Google, an hour worth of information. And I think that's another thing that kind of floored me there, is because that was available to me. I don't know, like you said, you thought maybe I called them in, or, I'm not sure. I don't know what happened before, or, what happened now, but
you notice that difference, that difference in the energy around you, because they are such high vibrational beings. And I think that's the one thing that, a lot of people that work with archangels, they don't really talk about what they experience or what they feel when they work with them. So that may be, one of the things of why, which is a good thing that you went to Jen and asked, because, those are just some of the things that I think, as far as working with the angels, that's interesting to know, is like, what other people may experience, as far as energy during that time.
Yeah. And that is too, that's why I ask, because, like I said, I've connected in meditation and things like that, but never have I seen like the energy like that with it. And, what I was told is that Uriel helps you find your footing on solid ground, like your grounding. And that could, I got goosebumps again. That could not have came at, more perfect time, because, like I mentioned, this week I have felt so ungrounded and sort of all over the place, and I haven't had time, to do that. And for some reason, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say it's really nice that you've got, the confirmation that you're being supported and where the support is coming from. At least now you know.
Oh, yeah, and I wasn't expecting it. I mean, the messages that I got earlier was exactly what I needed to hear in terms of, getting grounded and kind of getting my feet back on the ground. Because like I said, I've been, all over the place this week. And, I've been feeling like someone's given me the little extra push, or the little extra, nudge to keep going. And, I had mentioned earlier, like this week, I sort of feel like I'm evolving in a way. Like, I don't want to word it like new gifts or anything like that, because I believe we're all gifted to some point. But I guess, and I think I've actually asked Jen this before, about like trying to find your true calling or your true purpose. So that's always been, it's kind of been on the back of my mind. And this week, I guess, really I have got such big eye openers with that, and questions that I've had have been answered. And like I said, it's been a little overwhelming, but I feel that things are going to be okay. And that inner peace was sort of what I needed to be able to, ground like I should. Because it's hard enough, and anyone who does what we do, when we're working with other people's energies as well, we take in like the energy from everyone else. So when we're overwhelmed and kind of consumed with all this extra energy, I think that we're really, really overwhelmed. And a lot of times if we're not grounded, where does that energy go? It's just we keep it inside, and then we're off balance and everything like that. So I really needed that visit today, and I wasn't expecting it, but it happened, and I need it, and I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Right. I do too. I think it's telling you that you're kind of, not, you mentioned a while ago new gifts, but I think you're becoming aware of the gifts that you already possess and how to use them.
Yeah. And see, that's why I mentioned about the evolving. I've actually had another experience this week too, where I've it was almost like my entire life was rewound, and I could see everything happening all over again, but it like paused at certain moments. And, it took me a little while to realize that each time that it like paused, there was a major lesson or something that I needed to learn there. And then, as I seen how I moved on, I realized that, that was a difficult time, and, such and such was going on, but look, I moved past it. I was able to move past it. And,
Well,
I have, go ahead.
oh no, you go ahead.
I have noticed, this week a lot, I just kind of, this must be my reflection time, as well. But had I not be where I'm at spiritually, I think I probably would have pulled my hair out, trying to figure all of this out and just, try to work through everything. And I realized that where I'm at now, it may not where I wanted to be, where I wanted to be right now, but it's where I need to be.
Right.
And
Well, I think
it's just,
I think it's really, it's really interesting because Uriel, it means God is my light, and he is the angel of wisdom. And, he sheds light in dark places. And, this week, Susan, you've had so much going on that I think it's very miraculous to me that you've been given this wonderful gift of knowing who this is, and that he's been on the sidelines helping you, because everything that you've went through with your sister, just all of the things that you've had going on this week, and then now that that's calmed down, it's kind of like he's saying, hey Susan, I'm here, I'm helping you. And, this darkness that you're in, I'm going to shed some light on it. And in the process of having that light shed, him shedding light and bringing light to that dark space, you're also now seeing, or your awareness is raised of these additional gifts.
Yeah, and I, like you had mentioned, you think that they're not necessarily new gifts, but things that's been within me all along. I'm just now, and I don't know if I've blocked this out before, or, because a lot of times things that go on in our life can cause us to block things out. But I have been told several times, that what I do now, I've always been able to do. I've just blocked it out, or I've let, life situations kind of intervene.
And maybe you weren't ready.
That's another thing. I think you're right. And like I said, I think there's a reason for everything happening in the timing that it is happening.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see it. Everything that you were experiencing with your sister, what was going on there. I just think that's so huge. That's such a big thing, and when you, or at least, my feeling on it is when you come out of a situation like that, it changes you because, your sister was so close to death. How can that not change someone? How can that not bring an awareness to places, even subconsciously, that, you weren't aware of?
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like, like this week, I'm looking at everything with a new set of eyes. I'm hearing everything with, a new set of ears. It's like I'm not just seeing or hearing, what's like in the material world, like what I can reach out and touch or, anything like that. I'm taking a deeper look into everything. And so that's been a roller coaster of emotions in itself this week. It's just been, like I said, it's been definitely an experience this week. And I kind of have the feeling, that something else is going to happen, or, there's going to be another experience, but I think this is my stepping stone here. And, I was told, I've been told, like I said, several times that, I've kind of been here before. I've done this before. And, my gifts and everything that I have, I've always had. I just needed to go through certain things to be able to, get to the point where I needed to be with that. Like you said, I wasn't ready for this before. So it's all happening when it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Right. For sure.
But yeah, there's been a lot of things that has, been going on this week. I've stepped over our spirit cat and everything else, like I've got to the point where it's kind of normal to me now. And, my family, they'll just kind of look at me like, just step over the cat that passed years ago, or, I'm kind of, you see spirit around the corner, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. It's just been a whole new, I guess, kind of view on everything for me this week. And I think that, I guess the situation with my sister is what opened all of this up. I mean, not so much opened it up, but I guess helped bring the, the awareness in.
Well, I tell you what, as you were talking, and I hope you're okay with that, I pulled a card for you, Susan, and I'm using Colette Baron Reed Wisdom of the Oracle cards, but the card that I pulled for you is No Place Like Home, and I'm getting chills as I just read the card to you. So I'm going to give you the meaning of what the book says, and this is what it says. Home feels safe and secure. It's a comfortable place to rest and create, a place that is known and you can call yours. This card signifies that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you claim your dignity and integrity, aspects of yourself that no one can take away from you. You know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of your soul. This puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is your home. You are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit.
That resonates quite a lot.
I thought it might.
It really does.
Yeah, I thought it might.
I mean, I couldn't even begin to explain how I know that resonates, but it really does.
Well, that's okay. It's not anything you have to explain to us or anything. The fact that it resonates with you and you get the meaning, that's really all that matters. But you're just going, I just, myself personally, without looking at, without even looking at cards, I mean, it really feels like to me that you're in a little bit of a transition and, it's, and developing and, relearning, what it is, these gifts and things that, again, have always been in you, but you weren't aware of them. And now, you're being made aware. I mean, because I think to me, when an archangel comes into your life, the way that Uriel has came into yours, I mean, that's a big deal.
It is. And, like I said, I've not seen that for like I did. So for me to be kind of in wow or, in awe of what had happened, that really got my attention. And I think that's what it took for me to actually go, okay, this is important. I need to listen.
Mm-hmm. Sure. But, and part of that is, kudos to you for realizing that, because that's the thing, I mean, that's what's so bizarre to me at times, because this may have been staring you in the face for a while, but it took this situation and everything that's gone on in your life this week to make you aware of just even a tiny aspect of it. But I think that once you are aware of that tiny aspect, that just blows the doors open, and that's when it starts coming in.
Yeah. And, as you were talking, I had mentioned to you before about the new Ganesh deck that I had got. And I hadn't had time to, really work with them like I wanted to because of everything going on. But, you had pulled that card, and then I pulled a couple for myself, I guess more so I could get a feel of the cards and everything like that. And the 3 that I had pulled was Spiritual Quest, Revelation, and Personal Transformation. And you had just mentioned transformation. Yeah, most
definitely.
That to me kind of gives, it validates what you said, and also, it gives me validation that, with Uriel and, the card that you pulled and the cards that I just pulled, is that I'm where I'm supposed to be right now.
Absolutely. 100%. This was already, this was supposed to happen for you, and it had to happen this way for it to make the impact on your life that needed to be in the way that it needed to be. Or at least, that's what I feel.
I believe you're right. I mean, I feel it too. I mean, this week, I don't know, I was kind of a total mess because, I wasn't sure of the outcome of everything. And with other things that had been going on, that kind of, I guess the fact that I had the reality check that, my sister's surgery, it is major, and I kind of had to go through, I'm not even sure how to word that. I had to go through sort of, I guess, a reflection period, and I guess just grasp the concept of reality, kind of what was going on. And it was hard for me to do at first because I wasn't sure I could handle it. And then, I realized that a lot of things that I've been through, I didn't think I could handle it, and I'm here. I worked through it. And that has to be for a reason.
Right. Right. Do you want to take a quick break and then come back?
Sure can.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, and hopefully Susan Gretz will pull a card for me.
I would love to.
Yay.
Welcome to Beacon of Light Radio, a guiding light in the storm of life. Do you want to connect with inspirational spiritual guests? Have fun while quenching your thirst for metaphysical teachings. Then set a reminder for Kimla & Company with host Kimla Dodds, international best-selling author, psychic medium, astrologer, and feng shui practitioner every Thursday evening, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Come be a part of the show by joining us in the chat room or calling in for support or a free reading. We are waiting for your light on Kimla & Company. Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Beacon of Light Radio. And until then, may the angels protect you and guide you.
Welcome to Spiritual Soup with Jules and Wendy, where we mix together a pinch of magic, a dash of love, 3 drips of belief, sprinkling some laughter, and we share it with you. Each week, Jules and Wendy will share their experiences and insights about all things spiritual, magical, and mystical. Jules is a best-selling author, an international clairvoyant, medium, and spiritual life coach. Wendy is an international psychic and holistic practitioner whose specialties include Reiki Master, Crystal Practitioner, and Spiritual Advisor. Together, they form the Spiritual Soup Team. Join us Thursday evenings at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern to experience the magic of Spiritual Soup, only on Beacon of Light.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I had pulled a couple of cards for charity, and it was kind of funny how this come up because I shuffled and I shuffled and I shuffled until I was just guided to stop. And instead of pulling one card, I had actually pulled 2 for you, Charity.
Ooh.
And what kind of has me in awe, because, and like I said, this is a new deck, so, I gotta kind of look at the book here for the definitions until I get the good feel of the cards. But the funny thing is that before I even read you the definitions out of here, you also got personal transformation and revelation.
Oh, cool.
So before I even go into, what the definitions say in the book, it's almost like you yourself are, opening up with your own gifts. You are using them more.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got like a blue color that just kind of popped in my head for some strange reason. But I think that, this for you is you're also, we're headed toward the end of the year and the new year is approaching. So, we all set certain goals
Mm-hmm.
and everything, for the following year. And I think that has something to do with your own personal transformation and your revelation, so to speak. Actually, I feel like something's going to come up to you very shortly with your own gifts as well. So I'm going to look, see if I can't find these.
Well, I have some confirmation for you on that too. When you're ready for it, I don't want to give it to you, until you're ready. But I've got a story for you.
I'm just, like I said, I'm trying to find the. Maybe it's not meant for me to look in the book for.
I think it's meant for you to give me your. Yeah, maybe it's meant for you just to the feeling that you get from that card.
Okay, it's almost like when you take the personal transformation, it's like you're encouraged to be you. Like your ideas of growth for your spirit and sort of use your intuition more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I found it.
Okay.
With the first one is personal transformation, because that was the first one I pulled. And it says your soul is assisting you with creating changes to align you with your life's purpose. And it says Ganesha is pointing to the heavens and encouraging you to be open to new ideas and the growth of your spirit. Listen to the small voice within. You may have been feeling a strong desire to obtain or experience, again, a sense of meaning, inspiration, or purpose in your life. This is a likely time in which you are making some significant adjustments in your life. These adjustments are helping you in the process of changing yourself from the old you to the new you, and you will soon benefit from the fresh perspective on life. You're in a great place now for honoring the person who you truly are and want to be, rather than simply following a routine that has little meaning to you. This is a powerful spiritual journey that you're experiencing, which brings greater meaning and purpose into your life. This will renew your inner energy. Eliminate everything in your life that is not essential to your transformation. Realize that some of your activities may be in place to act as buffers or distractions from what is truly important. Allow the changes that are taking place and trust that a period of greater calm and stability will follow. Ganesh is calling you to your destiny. Your calls for guidance have not gone unnoticed, and you will ultimately find what you're yearning for.
Wow. That resonates. That really resonates with me. Well, what you said before, about the transformation, I mean, one of the things that's been coming up for me lately is that I've been having a lot of precognitive things come to me. And it appears to be in the form of a deja vu. It appears in a dream. And sometimes it'll present itself in the physical realm right in front of me. I mean, so much so I really thought I was crazy. Even though I know better, I really truly thought I was crazy. I mean, I think I went for about 5 hours one day because I had seen something, and this happened back whenever like the Olympics was going on. And I had I seen Michael Phelps win the silver. I watched it. And then it happened that night because I watched it again, and the only reason I know is because I mentioned to my mom, I'm like, yeah, Michael Phelps, isn't that so bizarre how he got 2 silver medals and he tied with people for second place in each of those races? And she looked at me and she said, that race didn't happen, because I told her, about the first time I seen him win silver. She looked at me and she said, he's won 1 silver. That didn't happen until last night. And I told her about it the day before, but in the afternoon. So that drove me batty for about 45 minutes one day. Or about 5 hours one day. I dwelled on that. I was like, oh my gosh, am I going crazy? What's going on?
Yeah, and I mean, that's another thing that I'd mentioned before I read the definitions or the meanings of the cards.
Yeah.
About, not so much new gifts opening up to you, but like you had mentioned to me, you already knew those. They're just now, I guess, building, or you're becoming more aware.
Right. And that's true. Because, these little things that are happening, that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't realize or notice that I don't know if my mom's a trigger for it or what, but like, I wouldn't have known if, I hadn't like told her about that swimming race I seen in the Olympics. And then the last 2 times that I've had this happen, it's been with her, with her telling me about a story that I already knew about that she had told me before. And she said that she hadn't, so it's been brought to my attention. And so the thing is that I know this has happened before and I wasn't aware of it at the time. I mean, I can remember the instances in which it happened, but not, details of those events, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it kind of happened.
Deja vu's a big one for me too.
It is. And I had that deja vu today. Today again, I was on the phone with Bob Brown of Over the Rainbow Show. We were talking at the end of the show, or it may have been the beginning, and he said something to me, and it just triggered something in me, and I'm like, oh, wow, this has happened before. And it had to do with the banner that we have in the chat room now, and, the cover story, or the cover page, and so it was very interesting.
Yeah, now myself, I'm like, and I'll even look at my husband, and sometimes he'll look at me like, no, it didn't. But, something will happen or somebody will say something, and I'll be like, didn't we already do this? Like, didn't we just have this conversation?
Right.
And, he'll be like, no. And I'll be like, but this is the outcome. Like, this is what happens. And then then it turns up, it happens. But it's weird because, I find myself asking, like, did that just happen? Like, haven't we done this before? And it really does. It takes you, a while to kind of, I guess, grasp the whole concept that you've seen it before, before it happened.
Right. I think it does. I think it does. I think it's breaking down that barrier, that conditioning that we've had all of our lives, and to believe in infinite possibilities. That anything is possible. I mean, we only make things impossible with our minds. The ego tells us, no, you didn't see that. No, you didn't hear that. No, that didn't happen. But, I think that's when when you start to awaken or, shift your conscious awareness is when you realize that, yeah, I did. And I don't have to second guess that.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and what's funny though is trying to, I don't know if you've had to try to explain, like, I find myself trying to explain, like, why, I had deja vu or, something in there. And I'm like, for some reason, and it's been a lot more lately, I'm like, if I don't think they understand something, I kind of feel like I have to break it down and be like, okay, well, this, this and this and this, just to try to get people, I guess, a sense of understanding, or I'm not sure why I do that exactly. But,
Right.
It's just,
Well, I think by doing that though, Susan, because I find myself doing the exact same thing, and I think what you're essentially doing is you're trying to raise their awareness or give them that push, to stretch their thoughts, to think outside the box a little bit, maybe.
that might be. I mean, I'm
Because if
trying
we
to,
didn't think outside the box, really, I mean, where would we be if we did not think outside the box? It would just be, everybody would be the same.
yeah, you're right. It would be. And I think a lot of that too is I have so many hopes for the world, and not so much that everyone has to agree with everything, because, a part of life is disagreements, but I think if everybody could just give everyone a chance and, grasp an understanding of what they're dealing with, or, what's going on with them or around the world, I think, so much change could take place.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's like with, with the readings, like even when I do readings, lately I've been guided to try to, I guess, not so much like open someone's intuition, but to be more aware so that, they can start figuring things out for themselves and, get in touch with their own inner guidance and everything like that. And it's just been a strong pull for me lately. And, I've had this, another thing, I can't remember which one did the show on it, but I think someone did a show about like your ego. I can't remember who. For some reason, I'm pulled to say Brandy, but I'm not quite sure if she did that show or not. But it was like it's like ego versus something. But I was like, something like, I was trying to think like guidance can't change the world, or, something like that, because I'm only one person. But then I was like, all it takes is one person to, offer the right guidance or direction. And then if you help that person grasp how they can do it themselves, then that person can tell the next person, and that person can tell the next person. And I was like, one person really can make a difference.
Right.
So I guess everything I have grasped is to like heal the world one day at a time, one person at a time, one emotion at a time, everything just step by step. If I can change one person's life and, I can guide that person on how they can help someone else, and then, they can do that. And it's kind of like a pay it forward, I guess. And for some reason, that is just what I have grasped in my mind that everyone needs to do. Not so much agree, but if we had more people, working together as opposed as against, I
Sure.
think it would just be much more peaceful.
Well, it would, and if especially if everyone believed in themselves and had the support to do so, I think is also important.
Yeah. I mean, I have, although I'm not one to ask for readings or anything like that, so not usually. Usually I try to figure everything out for myself, but, like I had mentioned before, sometimes we all need something to validate what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And this has just been, and, Jen confirmed that this week too, and along with everything else that has happened, that I don't necessarily, and that's like with the hands, the warm hands.
Uh-huh.
Where Jen had mentioned about, I just had a deja vu thing.
You see, there's lots going on, Susan. There's lots going on today.
I was like, and actually, because she's not on, so I can't ask her if I actually asked her that, or if that's, oh goodness. See, this is what we go through. But I have just been, there's just been a pull for me to guide and not so much healing, like physical healing, because that's not up to me, but like the inner healing. I mean, I just feel it starts with the inside first.
Oh, for sure. The internal work. And that's a big part. That's a big part. And you can push back and try not to do the internal work for a while, but it's going to come eventually one way or the other. And it depends on you how painful it is, or how difficult it is, or how hard it is. And it comes down to not wanting to let go of who you are now so you can be who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's another one with me too. I feared so long with not understanding my gifts because, I grew up with, certain family who's like, don't, like my parents, for example, because they didn't understand, these gifts, that I thought for the longest time they were wrong, or, I shouldn't work on them or acknowledge them. So that was what I guess I made that my reality, that it was wrong because it's what I was told. And it took me quite a while to, kind of, I guess, like look in the mirror, and not so much as like look in the mirror, but to see that wasn't me, that by them telling me not to do that, that wasn't me. That was not me being true to myself.
Right.
And I think that's what a lot of people, they go through today, is a lot of it is based on because someone told them not to do something, or that they can't do something. So they sort of turn that into their reality. And, like I said, that this week for me has been, it's most definitely been an eye-opener for me, but it's also been actually, like, I don't want to say the first time in my life, but a strong point in my life where I know what I need to do. I know where I need to be, and I know, what steps I need to take to get there.
If you don't mind, I want to just like take a little bit of a step back, and before we end the show, I really want to plug this because, and I know I've told you, Susan, before how I loved the palm reading that you did for me, but you mentioned the internal work. Okay.
Yeah.
When you did, I think it was last November, probably a year ago this month. But I think that's when you may have, it was either October or November when you did my palm reading. I can't remember, but nonetheless, it's been almost a year or at a year. And that palm reading was such a catalyst for me to, it kind of sent me into a mode of doing some deep internal work that I had been pushing aside or letting go or, not wanting to deal with. But it was things that I had to deal with. It brought up a lot of things that I had forgotten about.
Yeah.
And, just different experiences in my life. But I believe wholeheartedly that it propelled me into obviously being, where I'm at right now. And I'm so thrilled with that. I'm very happy, where I am right now. So I really want to give a good plug for you right now to tell everyone, if you have the opportunity, contact Susan. Book a palm reading with her. If you're stuck on anything, if you're, really out there, you're really trying to do that internal work and you feel like you've hit a plateau, you don't know where to go next, boom, palm reading, because it's so in depth and it's so personal. I didn't share mine with anybody because it was very, very, it was very personal for me. There was a lot of pain involved and things that I needed to work through, and it was really the catalyst. So I'm just forever grateful for that.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, they are, and just trying to, describe what is in there. And a lot of people, they don't understand, but when you read a palm, you don't just see things that's on, like on the outside. You don't see the physical. The palm shows, emotions, it shows feelings. There's a lot of stuff in there. And I had mentioned before where there was a time where I couldn't read mine. And I think you're the one that had mentioned, maybe it was because I was afraid of, what I would see. And once I acknowledged that, and I was like, yeah, that may be, it was like, boom. So now I catch myself, checking my palms out, every now and then, like, is there any change? But that was me blocking myself. So, and, like I mentioned, we all do that. We are the ones that block ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
for sure.
That's like, with a lot of gifts. And, even with you, and I can't remember everything that, I put in there, but I know there's been quite a bit of change that's happened with you from, when I see you now as opposed to when I did the reading. There's a lot of, there's outer change in there, but there's a lot of inner stuff that, has changed.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. Like I said, honestly, at the time too, when I got that reading, I thought I was doing really good and I was really happy, at the place that I was in. And then when I got that reading, I was like, oh, wow. It took some time to sink in, but, it really did. It propelled me into a place of going within and dealing with those things that I have pushed aside and held down for so long. And that was just so needed. I'm not anywhere probably where I need to be, but the good thing is that I'm where I'm at now, and I can just keep moving forward.
Yeah, and see, that's what I mentioned about the healing. Now, see, you did, that was inner healing for you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it. I brought it out so that you could recognize it and work on that yourself. And that's, like I said, that's been a real pull for me this week, is to help people see their true selves and recognize things that's going on within them so that they can heal and move forward. So, my pull has been, I guess, healing the inner self before the outer self. It's like, I was trying to think of an example there, and it was like there and then boom, gone.
I understand. But Susan, it's 8:15.
Oh my goodness.
Do you believe that? How time flies.
That was kind of awesome, though. I mean,
yeah.
I got to share some, good news about my sister and some wonderful stories, and we pulled some cards. But I think tonight was good. I needed to hear it, and, there was things in there that you needed to hear, and so if anyone can take anything out of this that, will help them, then I did what I'm supposed to do. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Charity, for co-hosting with me tonight and chatting with me. You are awesome as ever. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.